Hello, I'm Renée Valentina, and this is Musing Interruptus. I created Musing Interruptus as a space for my students and anyone who is interested in discovering idiomatic expressions in different contexts. Thus far, I've written stories and rants. But today, I'm going to do what I love doing most. It's interviewing interesting people. Today, I have a very special guest. Born and raised deep in the heart of Texas, entrepreneur, businessman, a man of faith and family, my uncle from another grandmother, Tom Vazquez. Welcome, Tio Tom. Thank you very much for joining me today. And as I mentioned, you're my first guest on Musing Interruptus, and I can't express just how much I appreciate this. I'm also really psyched. How are you today?
First of all, thank you for having me. I am doing really well today. I feel really good. I appreciate you considering me, and I'm looking forward to doing this with you.
I'm so happy to be doing this together. So are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. How do you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Tom Vazquez. I live in Pittsburgh, PA. I'm a third generation Mexican. I believe in my culture. I believe in my language. I believe in my music, my food. That's all very important to me. But also I realize 100% that I'm in the United States of America, so I'm an American first.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a little town south of Austin, Texas, exactly 30 miles due south. It's a place called Lockhart, Texas. Population about 14,000. Small community where everybody knows your name, kind of like Cheers.
Do you have a special memory that you could share with us when you were a kid?
One of the things that comes to mind immediately is the fact that I was very blessed that I had so many relatives. My mom comes from 16 siblings, and my dad comes from 11 siblings. So being a small community, we all lived nearby. We all had, it was just a big family. And the nice thing about it is we basically all got along.
Can you share a little more about your heritage?
Well, like I said, I'm third generation Mexican. All four of my grandparents came from Mexico. I was really proud, and I'm still very proud to acknowledge that all four of them attained their United States citizenship, which was important even back then. I mean, you're talking about a long time ago.
What aspects of the Mexican culture do you enjoy the most?
Relating it back to family, friends, religion. Religion, of course, is at the top of the list. We grew up Catholic, and we were really pretty much devout Catholics. You try to be the best person you could be. And that's being a Christian.
Yeah.
Believing in God, which we do strongly. And I think that is a strong force. And I think that is what guides me to be a better person.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, religion, family, just trying to do the right thing, trying to be as good as you can be. That's sounds like an army slogan, but it's really just try to be as best you can be.
Yeah. What brought you to Pittsburgh?
I met my wife at a wedding, Mexican wedding, that basically I wasn't even invited to, but showed up anyway. We kind of, we crashed it. And I had a date that night. But we had a little disagreement, and I was on my way out, and ran into a friend of mine, and he said, "Hey, there's these two chicks up here, and I'm talking to one of them, so why don't you talk to the other ones?" I said, "Okay, fine." So I met my wife at the time, not knowing that that's what it was going to be. And she's from the Pittsburgh area, and that's why I wound up in Pittsburgh.
All right.
So she brought me hostage.
A hostage situation. All right. Okay, that makes sense
situation.
Too. Love can be a hostage situation.
Yes, it could be.
What do you do for a living?
I am currently involved in the insurance and investment industry. I basically deal with annuities and life insurance and disability income. Disability income, for those who don't know, is you buy a contract, you buy a policy, and the event of your disability, whether it's physical or mental, the company will reimburse you up to a certain percentage of your earnings. Life insurance, of course, is you buy a contract, you name beneficiaries, and in the event of your death, that money goes to your family. By the way, it's a last remaining vehicle known to mankind that is 100% tax free.
That's wonderful. I think that's
That's
music
that's
to a lot of people's ears.
yeah, and most people don't really realize that what that means, but there's two things that are certain in life. You're going to die and you're going to pay taxes. Other than that, everything is possibly possible.
Right.
But those two things are definitely a fact. And
Most people struggle at the beginning of their careers. Could you share an experience that taught you an important and lasting lesson?
there's been a lot of situations. I mean, once you've been in this business for as long as I have, there's so many things that pop up. One of the things that comes to my mind immediately is that I had an interview with a young gentleman, married and two children, and I wrote a life insurance policy on him on a Friday evening, $100,000. And over the weekend, this gentleman was killed in a boating accident. Now, on Friday evening, I did not go back to my office. I went home with my all the information and a check from him, and I didn't process it till Monday morning. Well, when I found out over the weekend that the gentleman had been killed in a boating accident, I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to do because I felt that was all on me. I should have gone to my office. I should have submitted, but it wasn't going to go anywhere anyway because the office was closed and it wasn't going to be processed. So Monday when I went in, I went ahead and processed the entire paperwork as though he was still alive.
Mhm.
The company that I was representing at that particular time took all the information that I had. They submitted to the underwriter, who's the person that makes the final decision, and they treated it as though this man was still alive, not dead because of the accident. So I get chill. I still get chills about it. The company decided that everything that there's there's what they call representations. A representation is it's a statement that I ask you a question, you answer it. If you answer it honestly, it's a positive representation. If it's a misrepresentation, is you lied. The man had obviously submitted it with everything being fair up aboard, and so the company issued the check. They paid the wife and the kids $100,000, even though the gentleman had been killed that weekend in a boating accident. So that's definitely one of the events that comes to mind immediately. Several other events that come to my mind quite often is that the minorities in particular, Hispanics, blacks, different people that I've worked with over the years that don't really have a belief, and it saddens me to go to somebody's wake or a funeral and they have to pass the hat around because they don't have enough money to bury the person. So that always haunts me. That stays with me. For $35 a month, you can buy a life insurance policy and protect your family. Those are the two that really bother me the most. Well, one's very uplifting because I did pay the claim.
So, how do you strike up business?
That's a very interesting question. We have several different methods. We send out mailers with a questionnaire, 4 or 5 questions. What would you do in the event of unpredicted death? What would you do in the event of, let's say hypothetically, you were driving to or from work or anywhere, and you're in an accident and you're killed?
Yeah.
What happens? That makes people think. I don't know. I've never thought about that. Well, maybe you should think about it. there are so many thought-provoking questions to make people think, well, maybe I should look into this. Another one is just word of mouth. I mean, I was in a situation in Florida at Disney World, and I remember talking to this one guy who was standing in line, and before it was all said and done, he gave me his business card. I gave him my business card, and he wanted to talk about disability income that nobody had ever talked to him about it. The best referral is somebody that you already have insured, and they recommend a friend, a relative, a neighbor. You already come in with a good recommendation. I would say that's probably one of the most successful ways of doing business.
Do you strike up conversations with people in lines in general, as a practice?
I'm always talking to people. I don't talk to people about insurance. That's not what I'm saying. I don't strike up a conversation with like, do you have life insurance? Do you need disability? You know, that's not what I do. Matter of fact, I'm very conscious to not do that.
Okay.
And if it comes up in the conversation, if somebody asks me, what do you do? I'm like, well, I do annuities, life insurance, disability. 1987, I was the fourth highest disability selling agent in the country. And they flew us to Hawaii. They treated us like royalty. I mean, but the point was that it was disability insurance that took me there.
What are the most important elements of a good business relationship?
I've always said it, and I'll say it again 100 times. It doesn't matter what relationship you're in, communication, communication, communication. You also have to be present. You have to be present in different ways. One of the ways I like to stay present is I have a system where I automatically send out a birthday card. I mean, you get a birthday card from your insurance agent, like, so what? It's not bad. No, the point is I thought about you on your birthday. Uh, an occasional phone call. Hey, I'm just calling to see how you're doing. Everything all right? Is there anything I can do for you? Just so communication and contact. Those are the two most important things, I feel. Visibility, you got to be visible. Somebody calls you, call them back. Don't put it on. I mean, if you're busy, you're busy, but don't let a day go by without calling back. 24 hours is a time frame that you should be able to call somebody back in 24 hours.
It's a good rule of thumb.
I feel that it always has been for me. So visibility, communication, and contact. It's what I like to do.
So you've also done other things. For instance, you had a bar.
I owned a bar for 12 years, correct.
12 years. Can you
12
tell
years.
us a little bit about that experience?
At that time, I was involved with with a partner. We were doing house renovations. We were buying old dilapidated houses, fixing them and selling them. They were called flips. We were flipping houses. And we came across a few homes that we were able to flip quick, make some money. Then this bar came available, and it was pretty run down at the time. And they kept lowering the price, lowering the price, lowering the price. So finally we saw the price that we said, well, let's jump on it. And it was very successful for 7, 8, 9 years. It was good. I had an excellent food menu. It wasn't varied. It was pretty simplistic, actually. I didn't have a lot of stuff, but everything I had was good. I was involved in some of the cooking, not a lot of the cooking, some of the cooking. People would actually come and find out, hey, is Tomas cooking? Because they wanted me to cook, especially with the Mexican food. I didn't have a lot of Mexican food. I had 10 items, period. The basics, your tacos, your enchiladas, taco salad, just basic, 10 items. I don't want you to come in and just be overwhelmed thinking I am a Mexican restaurant, because I wasn't. We sold an enormous amount of pizza. We sold an enormous amount of sandwiches, and then we did a lot of alcohol. And I had a lot of entertainment. I started out on Wednesday nights. I'd have a karaoke. I'd have open stage. On Saturday night, I always have live entertainment. I had some really, really good bands come through my place, really good bands. Pittsburgh has some phenomenal musicians. They really do. I got out in perfect timing because I'd say about a year and a half prior to COVID, I had a guy come in and said, "Hey, how much do you want for this place?" And I said, "Well, it's really not for sale right now." So he kept calling and asking me, and then one day he called me at the right moment. And I said, "Well, why don't we sit down and talk? I don't want to talk to you over the phone." So he came in, we talked, one thing led to another, and we came to an agreement and shook hands, and I sold the bar. And then a year later, COVID shut everybody down. So I was very fortunate in that respect to get out when I got out.
Yeah. Do you know if they were able to reopen?
Um, yes, they did. They did. As soon as the scare was over, they did. But they changed everything from what I had. But I put out a really good product at a very good price, and that was the come on. You get a good product, you have a decent price. I didn't try to gouge people. I said, "Well, how much does it cost me to make it? Okay, what's my profit margin? The average profit margin for a restaurant should be 30%, 35%. So if you can earn 35% on your product, you're doing really well. And that's kind of like the rule of thumb for a restaurant, 30 to 35% profit. Some of the items that I would purchase to sell would doubled in price.
Oh my.
So then I try to pass it on to the consumer, and they're, "Oh, what the hell is this? It's a Ritz Carlton." I'm like, "No, it's not the Ritz Carlton. No, it's still the same place, but I got to pass some of that." And even then, I was fair. That's still my attitude about going out to eat. I have a problem with the people trying to gouge you. We went out to eat this past week one night, and I just look around and think to myself, "Man, I know what that costs, and I know what that would cost." If they can sell you a margarita for $12, and I know that it cost them $1.70, charge them $7.50, $8.
Yeah.
You're still making 300% profit. But like I said, good product at a fair prices. That was my attitude.
You mentioned that you hired a lot of acts for, different kinds of acts for your bar, different bands. What were your favorite?
The ones that weren't so loud.
Really?
Yeah. My place wasn't that big,
Uh-huh.
and the acoustics were, I would say they're better than fair at best. And a lot of the bands think that the louder you play, the better you are. That's not the case.
I have a couple more questions for you before we go into the rapid fire round. Now, what was your favorite part when you owned the bar?
like I said, I've always been a people person. So that first, I met a lot of nice people. I've maintained a good relationship with some friendship. We stay in touch. Entertainment's always been, I love entertainment. So that was a big part of it. And the fact that I was really proud of all the food we served. I just wanted to be really good at what I did have instead of being everything to everybody. This is what I have. And again, I kept good quality product at a decent price, kept them coming back. And that once you're there, they're going to have drinks.
Yeah.
Whether they have a margarita, they want a cold beer, or even pop. Pop anymore is ridiculous. Soda water pop, I don't know what you call it in Mexico, but and you go somewhere and have soda water. You have pop, it's 350. Now you get refills, which is good. But you're getting 27 cents of actual pop, and they're charging 350. Oh, but you're gonna refill. Okay, so now it's 57 cents, and still 350.
What advice would you give on being successful in business?
Well, I go back to what I said to you originally. The three most important things I think are communication, connectivity, and you have to be visible to your clientele. You have to be.
What advice would you give on leading a happy life?
A happy life, in my opinion, has to come from within. You have it. You can't expect. You cannot depend. You cannot want somebody else to make you happy. It has to come from within. You have to be happy with yourself. You have to. You have to feel good about yourself. You have to. You have to want to project that. You want to be the kind of person that people like being around. It's not, I don't want you to see me coming and you turn around and have to walk away because, I'm Debbie Downer or Mr. Negative or whatever, No, I'm not that. And even when I'm not mentally in the best of mind frames, I don't, I don't portray that. You don't even know. I had a very, very, very close cousin of mine, probably closer than most brothers. And when he passed away, it'll be a year next Sunday. Uh, I was devastated, and it took a good month for me to just try to get back to where I felt good. I wasn't feeling that so much. I had three really good friends die within 6 months of each other, younger than me, and very good friends, friends that I grew up with, friends that we stayed in touch with, friends that we had a lot of experiences with, friends that hurt. It was deep, deep hurt. But I think the majority of the people that knew me intimately, people that know me closely, they knew what I was going through and they knew how I felt. But if you'd see me on the street, you wouldn't know that I was going through that. I mean, I would really try not to carry that. I mean, he visited me 15 times when I lived in Pittsburgh. We played golf all the time. We drank beer. We barbecued. We laughed. We joked. But that's part of life. You you got to move on.
I'm sorry for your losses. That I know it's not easy.
God has a reason. God has a plan. And you have to go with that. If you don't have faith, then you have a problem. And
Granted.
I have faith.
Now there's this bonus round of questions, and some are my own, and some I'm stealing from this guy named Bernard Pivot, James Lipton, and Alan Alda. Here we go. Are you ready for this?
Do it.
All right. What makes you tick?
Um, I love life. I love living.
What are your favorite bands right now?
I'm still old school. I still listen to the bands I've been listening to since I was 15 years old, and that's Carlos Santana, Average White Band, Tower of Power. Now, I like all the older songs, all the 70s, and uh, it's it's difficult. It's like asking somebody who your favorite group is, and then you ask them what's their favorite song. That's very difficult to
Yeah.
answer. Very difficult. So I'm all over the place. Every genre of music I like.
Um, what really bothers you?
Negative people, negativity is just it's what bothers me the most. Negativity.
How do you deal with heartache?
It's a very difficult thing for me. My wife says that I take it too deep. I take it wholeheartedly, which is I do. That's who I am. I don't know that that's ever going to change. I deal with it in my own way, and that I pray a lot, and I don't hide it. I don't conceal it. I just don't display it, but I carry it.
Okay, here come the ones that I've stolen. What's your favorite word?
Great. Somebody does something positive and it's really good outcome. Like, wow, that's great. Something happens negative. Oh, she had a little accident. She had a fender bender. Well, that's great.
Mm.
So it's all in the intonation. Could be good, it could be bad. That's great. Oh shit, that's great.
I hadn't thought about that. Okay. It's a good one. What's your favorite sound?
Silence.
What job would you like to try?
I'd like to be a golf course superintendent. There's a lot involved into running a golf course. And I think that I could do a good job because, again, communication, understanding, and being able to. My wife has told me in the past that I can call somebody an asshole and make them feel good about themselves. So it's all in how you say things, you know? It's how you deliver what you want to say. And I think I try to do it diplomatically. I try to do it so that you don't even really know that you're being insulted, but you're being insulted.
What job would you absolutely never do?
Nursing, medical. I wouldn't want any part of any of that.
What is the strangest question anyone has ever asked you?
Wow. A strange question. Nothing really comes to mind. I don't have an answer for that.
What do you wish you understood?
Women.
Fair enough.
I mean, in a nutshell, uh, what makes people tick? You know, what makes people tick? The people that I care about, the people that I'm involved with. It's a lot of these questions that are being asked to me, same questions I would want to know about them, you know.
What book or movie changed your life?
I don't know that I've really had any book and or movie that has been a life-changing experience. Well, let me rephrase that. I watch The Godfather too much.
Okay.
It, but it hasn't changed my life, but I do watch it too much.
Mhm.
I have the trilogy, and one of the things that I do every holiday season is I watched all three.
Mm. What's your favorite curse word?
I think what everybody, depending on the mood that I'm in, I could say hijo de tu chingada madre,
It's a good one. Yes.
hija de tu chingada madre. And of course, everybody's favorite in English. If I had $1 for every time I heard F, I could probably retire. And I hate it because then I'm using it and don't even realize I'm saying it a lot of times.
Uh-huh.
There's got to be another word. There's got to be an adjective, an adverb, a noun, a pronoun that could replace that. It bothers me, but I'm an offender as well.
It's a go-to word, it's there, it's ready for the taking. It's hard
Yeah, and
not
it
to.
fits it, and it can use it's used in any adjective, adverb, noun, pronoun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Past participle. I mean, it fits.
It fits. That's
It
right.
fits.
What would you like God to say to you when you get to the pearly gates?
What took you so long? No, uh, I have a tendency to make a joke a lot out of a lot of things that should be more serious. But um, I was a senior in high school, and I didn't get my picture taken for the yearbook, nor did I do all the things that people that are getting ready to graduate do, because I wasn't sure that I was going to graduate. I was a rebel. I was a real rebel. So I'm thinking that God would probably say to me, "You almost didn't make it." That's what I think he would say.
Okay.
Yeah, you were on pins and needles, buddy.
Well, uh, I want to say thank you so very much for humoring me with this. This has just been a really wonderful experience having this conversation with you and getting to learn a little bit more about you. Um, as a child, I got to grow up uh, with you, Debbie, and the girls for, some weekends. I haven't counted how many weekends of my childhood were spent with Adrian and Andrea, and so it's having this conversation has been a really special opportunity to get to know the parental.
Well, I appreciate you considering me as well. I mean, it's and I hope that for both of our sakes, it's helpful for your students.
I'm sure it will be.
In whatever way. And again, if you need to follow up with anything, please don't hesitate.
I will. Well, thank you very much.